The Philippines and the FBI are looking for this man. Pastor Apollo Quiboloy, founder of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ, a megachurch claiming to have 7 million members worldwide. This close friend of former President Rodrigo Duterte is wanted for alleged sexual abuse, human trafficking, and child abuse. But closing this case won't be easy, given the power church leaders like him wield in the Philippines. You see, religion plays a dominant role in the Philippines. After all, this is Asia's bastion of Christianity. And even though the Constitution guarantees the separation of church and state, the reality is slightly different. For example, did you know that divorce is illegal in the Philippines? Except for minority Filipino Muslims who are allowed under Islamic laws. That makes the Philippines and Vatican City the last two nations in the world to prohibit divorce. That's mainly due to the influence of the Catholic Church, which counts nearly 80% of over 110 million Filipinos as followers. And that's why abortion is still illegal in the Southeast Asian country. Catholic Church leaders have also influenced politics in the past. In 1986, Manila Archbishop Jaime Cardinal Sin urged Filipinos to help protect military officials who quit supporting dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr.
I am calling our people to support our two good friends at the camp. If any of you could be around at Camp Aguinaldo to show your solidarity and your support in this very crucial period.
What followed was mass protests that forced Marcos Sr. to flee. But the Catholic Church influence to make or break a president appears to be waning.
The President of the Republic of the Philippines, President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr.
In 2022, the son of Marcos Sr. was elected into power despite the Catholic Church openly endorsing his opponent instead. Professor Jail Cornelio, a sociologist of religion at the Ateneo de Manila University, explains that the historical situation has changed since the fall of the Marcos dictatorship.
This is no longer the 1970s or the 1980s. Back in the day, there was one big enemy, Ferdinand Marcos. And nobody else could stand to that man that had a big institutional backing with massive influence, and this is way before social media, than the Archbishop of Manila. Surveys would show that Filipino Catholics became less and less interested in the political statements of the Catholic Church.
Aside from the Catholic Church, several Christian denominations have been flexing their political muscles. It's common for churches to express their political stand, but one religious group takes it further. The Iglesia ni Cristo, or the Church of Christ, which is behind me, is known for its unity voting, where its 2.8 million members vote for candidates endorsed by its leaders.
The decision of the church and their interpretation is that whatever the church leaders decide on has to be obeyed. And in the context of the elections, that's how they interpret it. That the endorsement of the church leadership is in many ways, in a very theological way, is also the endorsement of God. Kasi nga, if you disobey that, you are already being disobedient to God Himself. You are destroying the unity or the uniformity of the church.
These kinds of endorsements are sought after by politicians wanting to get a share of their votes.
Part of the decision process has to do with endorsing candidates who they believe would make decisions in the interest of the Iglesia. When Iglesia was just starting out in the 20th century, it was a suspicious minority religion that was extremely persecuted. So you would understand why they would want to endorse politicians who they believe would protect them one way or another.
Aside from political influence, these religious groups are also loaded. Iglesia Ni Cristo owns the world's biggest indoor arena that hosted the 2019 SEA Games and a couple of international concerts. The Archdiocese of Manila is one of the richest dioceses in the world. And back to Apollo Quiboloy, besides the $227 million King Dome that his church is building, they also own a news organization that became the preferred network of former President Duterte for interviews and guestings. And did I mention his private jet? With this combination of influence, connections, and assets, it will be difficult to close the case of Pastor Quiboloy. But more than that, it seems that religious groups in the Philippines have become so massively rich and powerful that it begs the question if they are still serving the interests of its faithful. Let me know what you think in the comments below.